on, he says this. Now this is the most amazing part. He says, verse 7, let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to the Lord, and He will have compassion on him, and to our God, for He will abundantly pardon. Now at this point in juncture, it's almost as though God is looking at their faces. Total bewilderment. Total unbelief. How can this be so? It's like the most lowly beggar and greatest criminal combined in one person being told by the most splendid and righteous king, not only am I going to pardon you, I'm going to adopt you into my family. And they stand there in utter bewilderment. They cannot even move one step forward. It's too good to be true. And so God comes back with His argument. Now listen to me. My thoughts are not your thoughts, and my ways, nor are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. What's He talking about? I'll tell you what He's talking about. He's talking about grace. He's talking about His grace. His way of saving men. My way of dealing with the wicked is not like your way of dealing with the wicked. God's way is not to simply overlook the wicked's sin, but nor is it to leave the wicked in their sin. He says, my way is not your way. Mankind is prone in its self-righteousness to say it can overlook sin. Isn't it amazing? We can overlook sin unless it's committed against us. Or mankind desires to take the sinner and strangle life out of him. All these false messiahs running around, let them be crucified to a tree, and they would not be crying out, Father, forgive them. They would be saying, someone hand me a machine gun. So here's the two things that we see in humanity: overlooking sin in the name of self-righteousness, or condemning the sinner and leaving him to die. But God, He deals with the sin. He puts it away. He satisfies justice, His own justice, by His own Son dying in the place of the guilty and paying for our crimes once and for all, and then coming before the most desperately wicked people and saying this: let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to the Lord, and He will have compassion on him, and to our God, for He will abundantly pardon. And he goes on, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are my ways your ways, declares the Lord. And then he goes on, for as the heavens are higher than the earth, so my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. I know that we can use this text in so many ways to describe the workings of God, but it pains me that for the most part this text is taken to show about God's omniscience, to prove God's power, to prove God's decrees, and they do not connect it with grace. He is looking at a people to whom He has proclaimed grace, and the grace He proclaims to them is so astounding, He has to convince them with many arguments that it is true. And he goes on in verse 10, for as the rain and the snow come down from heaven and do not return there without watering the earth and making it bear and sprout and furnishing seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so will my word be which goes forth from my mouth. It will not return to me empty, without accomplishing what I desire and without succeeding in the manner for which I sent it. Not one promise, not one word of all the good words He has spoken has ever fallen to the ground undone. He will do everything in regard to the salvation He promises His people. Absolutely everything.